Before humans learned how to write history, they told stories. Before stories had names, they existed as warnings, whispers, and quiet reminders passed from one generation to the next. Some legends were meant to inspire courage. Others were meant to explain the unknown. And a few were meant to remind humanity that not everything in this world was created for them. This is one of those stories. Long before kingdoms rose and fell, before cities replaced forests, there lived a creature deep within the mountains, where time moved differently. The air there was older. The trees were taller than memory. The stars felt closer, as if they were watching rather than shining. That creature was the nine-tailed fox. It was not born in a single moment. No thunder marked its arrival. No prophecy announced its existence. It began, like many ancient beings, as something small and overlooked. A fox that survived longer than it should have. A fox that learned faster than the rest. A fox that watched instead of fleeing. Time, when given enough patience, changes everything. As centuries passed, the fox grew not larger, but deeper. Its awareness sharpened. Its senses expanded beyond hunger and survival. With every 100 years, another tale formed, each one representing not power alone, but understanding. By the time the ninth tale appeared, the fox was no longer simply an animal. It had become a witness. From the depths of the forest, the nine-tailed fox observed the rise of humanity. Villages appeared like brief sparks of light, flickering and vanishing within generations. People came with fire, tools, and ambition, carving paths through land that had once known only silence. The fox did not interfere. It learned early that humans were not dangerous because of their strength, but because of their urgency. They rushed toward goals they barely understood. They built, destroyed, and rebuilt again, all within the lifespan of a single tree. The nine-tailed fox learned patience from the mountains and caution from the rivers. It learned that remaining unseen was not weakness, but wisdom. And so it stayed hidden. Legends, however, have a way of leaking into the world. Hunters began returning with strange stories. They spoke of a fox with eyes too intelligent, a creature that vanished without sound, leaving behind footprints that ended abruptly, as if swallowed by the earth itself. Elders warned their children not to wander too far into the forest. They spoke of spirits that tested the hearts of humans, of beings that rewarded restraint and punished greed. Over time, these warnings became myths. And myths became entertainment. But the nine-tailed fox never forgot that every story carries a fragment of truth. Immortality, despite what humans imagine, is not endless pleasure. It is repetition. The fox watched the same mistakes unfold again and again. It saw love bloom and decay. Power rise and corrupt. Promises made with sincerity and broken with ease. And slowly, something unexpected happened. The fox grew lonely. Not in the way humans understand loneliness, but in a deeper sense. A separation from urgency. A distance from meaning. While the world changed at a frantic pace, the nine-tailed fox remained unchanged, anchored in a stillness that no longer felt peaceful. It began to wonder. What does it mean to belong to a world that never stops moving when you do not age with it? That question lingered longer than any spell. The fox had power beyond human comprehension. It could alter perception, influence dreams, and bend the edges of reality. Yet there was one thing it had never attempted. To live among humans. Not as an observer. Not as a spirit. But as one of them. The idea was dangerous. Legends warned that spirits who grew too close to humanity often lost themselves. Emotions, once tasted, could not be undone. Time, once felt through a human body, became painfully short. But curiosity is a quiet force. It does not shout. It waits. On one particular night, when the moon hung low and the forest was unusually still, the nine-tailed fox stepped closer to the edge of the human world than ever before. From afar, it watched a village settle into sleep. Lamps dimmed. Voices softened. Doors closed gently instead of slamming. There was nothing dramatic about the scene, yet something about it felt heavier than any battlefield the fox had witnessed. This was not survival. This was life. The nine-tailed fox did not transform that night. Instead, it turned back toward the forest, aware that once the choice was made, there would be no simple return. Immortality would no longer be a shield. Distance would no longer protect it from loss. And yet, for the first time in centuries, the fox felt something close to anticipation. Legends often begin with great events. But true change begins with hesitation. Somewhere between the trees and the village lights, the boundary between spirit and human began to thin. And although the world did not notice, a legend had already taken its first step toward becoming something far more fragile. Something that could feel. Something that could love. Something that could lose. In the next part, the nine-tailed fox crosses that boundary, trading eternity for experience, and silence for connection. But for now, let the forest remain quiet. Let the legend rest. Good night.